What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video today. We're just gonna talk about Jrue Holiday, a guy that I always been a big fan of, a guy that I always knew could play. Um, he got traded on that draft day, changed his career because he was an All-Star in the East. That's not really saying much because people know a lot of players can make the All-Star team in the East, but he was an injury replacement on top of that, and became an All-Star. So that's something you always can say. I was among the best at the All Star game, and he felt like he was a part of that, and he actually was selected by um, David Stern. But I want to talk about him particularly because I said a lot of people they didn't understand why he got paid. They didn't understand what's his value. They didn't understand why would you give up Nerlens Noel. Jrue Holiday is a dynamic combo guard. He always been a little tweener because he has the size of a shooting guard, which is 6'4", 6'5". Shooting guards are really 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" at the max. Sometimes they be 6'7", like DeMar DeRozan. But he's a guy that can play on and off the ball, and that's a skill set to me in the NBA when you have the ability to make plays for others, whether you own the ball, handling the ball, trying to make it in the pick and roll, and he actually is a phenomenal pick and roll player. Especially when you have players like Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins that make your job a lot easier because they can create their own shot. They can knock down a mid-range jumper. They can stretch it out to the three-point line, and they're mobile and athletic for their position. So even if you drop it off, they can run right to the rim, get a dunk, get a lob, and they're great playmakers and unselfish too. So even if you do the pick and roll and they shot and they drive ain't there, they are not afraid to pass it to 3-point shooters and pass it to other teammates. And that's the best part about the Pelicans, even though they lost DeMarcus Cousins, that they're a group that's very unselfish. The biggest problem with them is that can you really win a championship with Jrue, DeMarcus, and Anthony Davis being your best players? And that's why I wanted to make this video because a lot of people don't know how good of a player Jrue Holiday really is because he plays in New Orleans and he played in Philly, but he didn't really have a dominant superstar, very publicized, talked about season. Well, even when he made the All Star game, he really wasn't known as one of the best players in the league, even in the Eastern Conference. And I seen him get paid, and a lot of people said, "Why would you pay him that money? He's not worth that. He's always injured. He's an okay player at best." But Jrue Holiday is long. He's lanky. He's a solid defender at that position. He's at the point guard position. He's quick. He's fast. He has that dynamic play of where he can play the pick and roll. He can knock down the three. He can create his own shot. He can get to the paint. He can get in the passing lane and get fast break points. He do so many little things that helps the team win. Plus, like I said about DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis, he's unselfish. He doesn't mind playing a shooting guard position because this is what's best for the team. He doesn't mind, and sometimes to a fault, he doesn't mind deferring to Anthony Davis. He doesn't mind deferring to DeMarcus Cousins. But one thing I like about Jrue Holiday, even before DeMarcus Cousins got injured, he started to realize how important he was to this team's success. Obviously, Alvin Gentry and the team believed that too because they paid him over $100 million because he was injured and beat up majority of those seasons, and he is only getting his body is only getting worse. He only played 34 games his first season with the Pelicans. He played 40 games his second season. He played 65 his third season. He played 67 his fourth season, and he still got paid over $100 million. That show you how confident and that show you how good of a player that he is. That a guy that can't stay healthy to save his life went for this organization. They still gave him a long extension and paid the man as quick as they could. Soon as the contract negotiations started, they already reached the deal just like that. And he hasn't even been healthy for majority of any season that he played with the Pelicans. Um, but at the end of the day, he having a career year. He averaging his career high in points with 18.8 points. He's giving you one steal. He's giving you a career high in 4.4 rebounds. He's giving you 5.6 assists. But you can't really look at the assists and say that's not enough because he is playing multiple positions for this team. He's not the primary ball handler. He's not the primary playmaker with Cousins, with Davis, with Rondo. He unselfishly didn't mind deferring to these guys, and sometimes he has that ability to complement these players. Like I said, with the 3-point shooting and the ability to break down the defense and get to the paint, it makes their job easier. While it makes their job easier, and they make his job easier because they all is able to play off of each other's strengths. And you can say, Quinn, well, if they was that good, then why are they barely hanging into the playoff spot? They're not really a great defensive team. They can get stagnated offensively sometimes, and it's still chemistry issues. Last year, they traded for DeMarcus Cousins. It was at the end of the season. This year, Jrue Holiday missed a lot of games last season, and he couldn't get comfortable with the team to where it was destined for them to make the playoffs. When they made the trade, people said they was gonna make it. Jrue Holiday missed so many games. They couldn't build the chemistry, and now you even have this season where they're playing well together. They started to start hitting a streak. They started getting on a little win streak. As soon as that happened, DeMarcus Cousins go down, and now you like, wow. The moment that we started getting it going, the moment we started putting wins together and making a run for a higher seed, our second best player goes down, because I personally feel like Anthony Davis is the best big man in the league. Um, but he's still giving you 49% from the field because, like I said, he has the ability to play off of players and create his own shot. And he doesn't really force anything. He doesn't even try too hard to be a superstar player. He's comfortable playing his role, and that helps this team win. But his role now, which I was about to say a couple minutes ago, is that with DeMarcus Cousins, he played down. And they seen how aggressive and how good the team is when he is aggressive and he is attacking and he is trying to create things. The team is even harder to guard with that, because he able to do basically anything he wants to, especially in the pick and roll situations. That team is unguardable with those two bigs. And his ability to knock down the mid range and knock down the three and get to the basket makes it even easier for him, because this is something he's been doing his whole career. But Jrue Holiday has been on a tear, and he's becoming from the most overpaid player to the most overrated player to now he's a little bit undervalued for what he brings to this Pelicans team, even when DeMarcus Cousins was healthy. In October, he averaged 15.6 rebounds, 5 assists. 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and 15 points. But he came back the next season and increased his number to 16, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds on 46% from the field. Came back the next year, the next month in December with this is included when DeMarcus Cousins was there. He comes to average 21 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and 42 from three, 52 from the field. Comes back and has a great January the whole month. 20 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 50% from the field. And then he's having a spectacular end to February with his points going from 22 to 21 to 24 to 29. And I live in Wisconsin. I live by Milwaukee. They beat the Bucks, but he had an enormous 36 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 40% from three, 100% from the free throw line, and 51% from the field. Matter of fact, the last couple games he shot 46, 50%, 52, 55, and 51, all from the field goal, all from the field. So this guy can play. He takes smart shots. He's a guy that will do what's best for the team. He's a guy that when he's aggressive, he's one of the better players in the league in general. He's one of the most underrated point guards, and partially of that is because of him not being healthy, not being able to play, not being able to build that chemistry with his teammates because the roster kept changing and none of them can stay healthy. Even if you go back a couple seasons ago, Anthony Davis kept getting injured damn near every game, and he still almost do. DeMarcus Cousins just went down. They had to play with a lot of G League type of players the last couple seasons, and it's hard to find a point guard better than Jrue Holiday. That's why they didn't mind paying him. And he's living up to that contract these last couple months. And matter of fact, this season, you're averaging 19 points a game. He has been clutch for this team, knocking down clutch threes, knocking down clutch floaters. He even hit a game winner a couple times this season. Jrue Holiday is an undervalued player. And he went from being the most overrated, the most overpaid player to now you starting to see why they gave him that contract. And I never said he was overpaid. I never said he was overrated. I was a little shocked that they gave him that much money. But at the same time, I knew what he can bring to the table. I knew the impact that he can have on a team, and I knew how great of a player he was, and how unselfish he is, and he fits with that personality of that team. That they play together. They're not the best defensive team. They're not the most unstoppable team, but Anthony Davis doesn't mind getting 27. He had 27 points today. He didn't mind Jrue Holiday going off. DeMarcus Cousins sometimes have a triple-double. Sometimes Rondo has 10, 12, 15 assists. This team just gels right. They have the right mindset as a team. They just have to put it together offensively and defensively and stay healthy. But that's been the biggest problem for them for the last couple of years. So it's easier said than done because they haven't been able to do it, including this year. And honestly, it hurts the ability to keep Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, he's going to get sick of losing. He's going to get sick of not making the playoffs. He's going to get sick of making the playoffs and not winning enough games to even have a chance to win the championship. And that's why they brought in DeMarcus Cousins, because he was a guy that was a superstar player, multiple time All NBA and All Star player, and that was supposed to give him that extra guy to go with Jrue and Rondo that can take pressure off Davis and get his own shot, dominate the game, dominate the boards, be a great passer, and be a versatile player. But he went down, so it hurts the chances of keeping AD, especially if they can't keep DeMarcus Cousins. I like to trade for Mirotic. He's a perfect fit for this team because he's unselfish. He don't mind playing his role, and he's not trying to do the impossible. He's knocking down threes. He's knocking down shots when available. He's coming off the bench. And I like the demeanor and the attitude of this team. It's just a matter of building that chemistry, playing harder on defense, trying harder on offense, and just trying to stay healthy. But like I said, they haven't been able to do that since Anthony Davis got in New Orleans, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy for even 82 games one season. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Jrue Holiday overrated? Do you think he overpaid? Do you think he's overvalued? Should they have not gave him that contract? Do you think he is an all-star player? Do you still think he's one of the top 10 point guards in the league, which he was in Philly in the first couple seasons with New Orleans? Even though he didn't play that much, you've seen how elite Jrue Holiday is. But he has declined a little bit, and he's playing back to the Jrue Holiday that we want to see this season. And the guy has been amazing. He hasn't been all NBA. He wasn't playing at an all-star level, but he's getting back on that pace to get back to that elite level that we all know him for being at. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Also check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about Jrue Holiday in the comment section below.